Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're well. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about things I wish I knew before I started programming and before I started university. Hopefully these will help you out and maybe get you into some good habits and stuff like that. But otherwise, enjoy the video and let's get into it. So my first tip is, if you're going into university, be prepared for what you're going to be getting into, in such that you should know which programming language you're going to be learning and which OS you are going to be learning. I'd recommend that you, say you're starting in September when classes normally start for me, you'd have the whole summer holiday before to prepare for what you're going into. But I didn't know when I was starting that we were going to be coding in C and using Linux, and I just went in completely blind, and it took me about a semester to catch back up. So my advice would be just to figure out which programming languages you're going to be using at the start, which OS, and because in the summer you've got time, take your time to start learning them. You'll be ahead of everyone else, and it'll take away a lot of stress on those first few days and first few weeks. My second bit of advice would be to not give up in the beginning. When you start off programming or learning Linux, how to use it, it's just so completely different from what you're used to that it would be really, it's just hard to pick up, I found, in the beginning. Just because it's so different, you just start off learning the command line and how directories and all that stuff works. Just moving around in your folders and stuff, it takes a while to learn. And all the different commands, how to create folders, write to them, which programs to use to write to them, using Emacs, all that stuff takes quite a while to get used to. And then on top of that, you got to learn programming languages as well. And if it's something you're starting out with, that's an extra level of complexity. So try not to give up easily in the beginning. It will get easier. Remember just to take breaks, stuff like that, if you get frustrated, but it will help if you're someone who's patient. So just give it time and everyone gets there in the end. My third bit of advice would be to not be afraid to ask help of others. And asking for help is not asking for the answer, it's asking for a new way of thinking perhaps, or a new piece of information to research, stuff like that, new commands, new system calls that you didn't know that you can go look up the man of, but don't go in expecting an answer. That's not the best way to learn if you just want an answer, and hopefully the person you're asking help for hopefully doesn't just give you a straight answer to get rid of you, because that won't help you out in the long run. Hopefully they help you develop research skills and figuring out things by yourself, putting you on a new path but not giving you things. And with that goes not bugging someone all the time for the answers and things like that. That's just not good. You won't make friends like that. So asking for help, and don't be afraid, don't make it an ego thing where you just will never ask for help. And today you'll be asking them for help and tomorrow they might be asking you. So it's a two-way alley, and there are a lot of people with enormous egos in programming, think they know everything. So yeah, just be cool, ask them for help, hopefully they'll help you out nicely, and help others when you can too. Makes the experience much better for everyone. My fourth piece of advice would be to be careful doing your projects with people you hang out with and your friends. Now this can ruin friendships, doing school projects with your friends. If you or your friends have different work ethics, stuff like that. If I don't know, some people, they get really defensive of their code when other people review it and criticize it. If your friends are like that and you do projects with them, it can negatively affect your friendships, and that won't be good. Hopefully you can find people that you get along with well enough, do your projects, do them well together, have a good synergy, and either just like hang out with them afterwards or not, and then that's cool. So yeah, my recommendation is to perhaps maybe not, if you see your work ethics are different with your friends, don't work with them. Try and find other people that you can get along with and do your project to. So for this fifth piece of advice, it is to take breaks often. You can either follow I think it's called the Pomodoro, where you have a set objective and you take a break after 25 minutes, or take a break for like every hour, stuff like that. Just what you feel like, but do take breaks fairly often. It's good for your eyes as well. But I used to think that staying hours and hours in front of the screen, the solution would suddenly just come to me, pop into my head, and that's not really how it worked. I found that when I was, after a few hours, stuck on something, taking a break, going to get a drink or something, it always helped me refresh my ideas and actually find a solution to my problems when I wasn't even thinking about it. And that's happened quite a lot. So my recommendation would be to take breaks often, and when you do take breaks, try not to, go on Reddit, Instagram, RuneScape is what I would do to procrastinate on the problem. Just relax, For my sixth tip, it would be to not use an IDE, integrated development environment, straight away. If you don't know what an IDE is basically a text editor on steroids. You get a lot of tools, and it takes a lot of the boring stuff away, basically. It also, you can build your projects inside of it and it's debugging, stuff like that. They're really good tools. However, to start off with, I recommend just using Vim or Emacs, just basic tools, so that you know and understand everything you're typing. Because IDEs, especially in most programming languages, they can do some of the code for you. In C, for example, they like fix references and pointers and stuff like that for you. If you start off with the bare basics tools, text editors, stuff like that, you'll understand everything you're writing, and it'll put you in a better mindset. So when we started off, we were taught to just use Emacs, and they turned off the syntax highlighting as well, and we weren't allowed to go on Stack Overflow. We just had the mans to look up commands, and that gave us a really solid foundation to understand how things worked. So my recommendation is to not start off using IDEs and use basic tools. So my seventh piece of advice would be to use Stack Overflow carefully. If your school is like mine, they might have cheating detecting software. So they know if you picked up something from Stack Overflow, and if they're reviewing your code, they just know if you wrote it yourself and if you'll be able to explain how it works. So use Stack Overflow, but my advice would be to don't use code that you don't understand. First of all, that's just like not just in school but even afterwards. Don't use code you don't understand. Secondly, if you do understand it, rewrite it. Don't just copy and paste it. Rewrite it line by line and just get a feel for it and understand how it's working. And if there's commands and things like that you don't know, perhaps look them up, understand what they're used for, things like that. So just completely understand what you're using. Don't just copy and paste. My eighth bit of advice would be to talk out loud. When you're trying to figure out the execution of a program or you're stuck, just going through the flow of it and speaking out loud is a very common recommendation for when you're trying to understand how the thing's running. Some people call it the ducky method, I think, where you just have a duck and you talk to your problem out loud, how it's working. So yeah, that would be my tip, and it's worked for me in the past. Would just be to talk out loud what you're seeing, what it's doing, and perhaps trying to explain it to imagining you're explaining it to someone else. So my next bit of advice is something that I've kept up for over about 4 years now, and that is sport and the benefits of doing a sport. If that's either weightlifting, running, swimming, stuff like that, anything just to get your heart rate up. As programmers, we spend a lot of time sitting down, so you need to blow off steam. It can get quite stressful, and benefits of sport are just massive, physically and mentally. You'll feel a lot, if you do it in the morning, you'll feel a lot more refreshed for the rest of the day. If it tires you out too much, do it in the evening. But I found that you just think a lot better and you have a better perspective on the day if you get a workout in the morning. So yeah, don't ignore the benefits of doing sport. Don't get into a mentality where you just want to code all the time, because that will burn you out, and in the long run it's not healthy. In the long run, if you do sport, eat well, you'll be able to think better and code better. So for my last piece of advice, one that I regret I didn't take advantage of enough, is to not pass up on opportunities that are given to you. Things like hackathons, competitions, networking events, career stuff. Just don't pass up on it too easily. One thing I regret the most is not doing hackathons with friends, and taking up more projects outside of just a normal school curriculum. I think these open a lot of doors, and the experiences from them are really just massive, especially from hackathons. I think even if you don't make something that works or get placed, you can always put it on your CV if that's your kind of thing, but you'll have a lot of great experiences that you would miss if you say no to all these opportunities that hopefully your school offers to you, or just that happen in your city and stuff like that. And you'll meet a lot of great people. We used to do a lot of game jams, and they were just always so much fun. So yeah, don't pass up too easily on opportunities. That's what I'm going to say. Right, that's it from me, guys. I really hope these tips helped you out and give you some ideas, a new mindset, things like that. If you want to talk more about them, just leave a comment and I'll reply to them. Otherwise, if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.